guys, welcome back to this brand new figure review where we're going to be reviewing this Ultimate Edition Scott Steiner figure. I cannot wait to unbox this one. Now, when I was a kid, some of the early figures that I had as a child were WCW Toy Biz. Scott Steiner was always one of my world champions when I was a kid growing up. And the fact that this comes with the World Heavyweight title, it's going to be a trip down memory lane. So I can't wait to unbox this, but I'm not just going to do it by myself. I'm going to do it with you guys down on the desk cam. So guys, let's wait no longer for this WCW Scott Steiner review.
Story time. So when I was younger, I used to have the Toy Biz figures, the WCW Toy Biz figures, before I had the WWE Jakks figures. And Scott Steiner was one of those Toy Biz figures, and I used to play with him all the time. There was two versions. You had the black version, the black singlet, and you had the white one as well. And yeah, he was always my world champion. So picking up Scott Steiner today definitely brought back all those old memories, especially considering he comes with that WCW World Heavyweight belt. Back when I was younger, there was no belts. We had to make them out of paper. But my paper belts certainly never looked as good as this one does. So yeah, let's crack open this Scott Steiner. We'll check out everything, and we'll give it the full review treatment. So kicking us off then, we have this WCW World Heavyweight belt, and this really pops. The colour is pretty much gold. It's a really, really nice gold colour. Probably, I think it's the brightest belt I've ever seen in my life. So that's a really good accessory to get straight off the back. You've also got, of course, the interchangeable hands, 2 sets as normal. You've got the finger pointing hands. I don't think Scott Steiner was ever really known for his finger pointing, but it's always a good variation to have. And of course, the closed fists as well. So next then, we've got the headpiece, which is to sort of mimic chainmail they used to wear during his entrance. And I think it achieves it. Of course, it's not actual chainmail, but it does look like it. But it is solid plastic, of course. And then we've got the head scans. So this figure comes with 3 interchangeable heads. Now, unfortunately, they are all pretty similar, with slight variations. Like this one has an open mouth, but of course the beard and the hair remains the same throughout all 3. So I probably would have liked something a little bit different, but there is only so much you can do with head scans, really. But then, you can definitely tell it's Scott Steiner all day long, without a doubt, with that iconic beard that he used to have back in the day. So what else do we have? So we also have a nice pair of sunglasses. So I'm hoping they actually fit on him. I always have trouble with sunglasses. They always just tend to fall off. And of course the straitjacket, which is a very unique accessory to come with any action figure. And I can say this is definitely my first straitjacket that I've ever had on any action figure line. So we're going to try that out later to see how it works. But here is the figure himself. So this figure is a representative of his match where he won the WCW World title, and he took on Booker T. He wore this red attire. And looks very, very nice indeed. I was a little bit concerned that the legs might be just sort of a little bit too small. But I must say, out of the box, it doesn't seem to be a problem. And he looks and feels really nice. He moves really well. There's no loose joints whatsoever. He's got butterfly joints, of course, and double jointed elbows, knees, etc. Moves, the legs work perfectly fine. They move really, really well. So then, first impressions, straight out the box, really impressed. He feels good. He looks good. Of course, we are going to play around with some bits. We're going to change the hands. We'll change up the heads. And we'll find out what works best and how we're going to pose him moving forward. I've just noticed there is just a little mark on the leg there. But yeah, it's not something I'm going to lose any sleep over, and I'm sure I can get it off if I really tried. But yeah, so far so good. What I'm going to do though is just pose out those arms. And of course, Scott Steiner was known for his signature humongous biceps. But I'm not sure those hands really work to really maximize that pose. But yeah, of course, he was a freak-zilla with those giant biceps. And I think Mattel have really done them justice. I don't think they have used these bicep molds on any other figure. I could be wrong, but I think they're unique to Scott Steiner, and so they should be, because there's no one that had biceps like Steiner back in the day. And there you go. See, it looks really nice, and those butterfly joints and the double what's the word? Double hinged, that's the word. The double hinged elbow really helps get that pose. And of course, Big Papa Pump, holla if you hear him, on the back of his tights. So let's change up the heads to find out which one works best. Now, of course, they're not going to see huge differences because the face scans are reasonably similar. So this is the more open mouth version, and it looks great. It looks fine. There's no problems with it whatsoever, and it's perfectly acceptable face scan. I think what you could say with these heads is that maybe they're a little bit small, tad small. Certainly with this one, but of course, as a performer, Scott Steiner was always a little bit out of proportion because he was so muscular. So his head was never huge anyway. But it still absolutely works. You don't look at it and think, oh, the head is just too small, but it probably is slightly on the smaller side. And there he is with the chain mail over the top of his head there as well. And it fits him perfectly. It fits just like a glove. No problems there whatsoever. Is that I don't know if that's a bit of extra. No, it's not. So it's me thinking that was some excess plastic, but that is the actual design of it there. So don't try and pick it off like I just did. And then the sunglasses, yes, they do. They actually do fit, and they look really nice. Suit him. They don't look too big. I've obviously done it incredibly wonky there, but no, they actually do fit in really, really well. And they stay on quite nicely. Can you put that over the top? No, you can't. Okay, that was a silly idea, that was. But what's great is that this figure just offers you so many alternative looks. You can have him with the glasses on, you can have him with the chainmail on, you can have him in his straitjacket, and of course, you can have him with his WCW World Belt. And this belt, I just can't get over just how vibrant it is. It looks amazing. So I can't see you posing this figure without this belt. It's made to measure. So now, if you saw my last review of the Cody Rhodes figure, you'll know how much of a rough time we had trying to get that Cody's weight belt on, and I have an equally harder time here, but I think we've got it. Yep, there you go. So there he is with the WCW World Heavyweight Belt, and it looks awesome. I'll definitely be posing him with this belt, I think. So this will probably be the way I do pose him. I could chuck the belt over his shoulder, which I think equally would look quite cool. So I'll try that in just a minute. But the problem with that is that you can't hook it under the hair. So normally I would put it over the shoulder, like for an Undertaker figure, for example. But then you can just tuck one end of the belt under the hair, so it actually rests on the shoulder and stays there. Whereas, as you can see here, you can't really do that because the belt would just fall forward. But you could always attach the belt, and then sort of wrap it round the shoulder. But yeah, let's bring in this straight jacket. And it feels quite nice. I guess it feels like what a straight jacket would feel like, but it's a nice sort of fabric feel. So we're going to pop this on here. Now, I'm not quite sure how these work. It's not something I've ever had the fortune of wearing myself, but I'm pretty sure it's quite easy to work out. I think there's a few clasps at the back, and then you sort of cross over at the front. So this seems to be working so far. If I just turn this over now, we should see. Yep, there we go. So it's holding in place quite nicely. And if we cross these over, and then we just tie a knot at the back, and that would be our straitjacket. Actually, I think it's going to look quite cool. Yeah, it does actually look really, really cool, actually. I'm not sure if I'm going to pose him in this, because obviously he didn't make a habit of wearing this. I do think it was just a one-time deal. But it's a really cool accessory to have. They certainly didn't have to pop that in there. I think it would have sold perfectly well without the straitjacket. But it is a nice addition to have, definitely. But we are just going to take it off for now. There we go. So let's bring back the other accessories and put together our definitive Scott Steiner. So I'm just going to change the head scan over to this one. And if we bring back the chainmail headpiece, and we'll get that belt on him there. So you'll see what I mean about putting it over the shoulder. Because you've got nothing to tuck it underneath, it will sort of just keep sort of flopping forward. Yeah, so I think you'll be better off if you actually do the belt up and then wrap it around the shoulder. That should work out quite well. So yeah, you can either pose him like this, or you can put it around the waist. I think I still prefer it around the waist. Yeah, I certainly don't prefer it that way. But yeah, I think I'll be posing it around the waist. Let's pop him back here and pose him whilst holding the belt like that. So I think that looks really cool as well. This Scott Steiner Ultimate gets a thumbs up from me. Now let's just compare him to some other figures in the collection. This is the Booker T from the Monday Night Wars figure series. Obviously Booker T does tower over him, but Booker T was always a lot bigger than Scott Steiner anyway. And here is the Ultimate Rock. And that's how they compare. And then just for a laugh, we've also got the Toy Biz Jeff Jarrett figure. And you can sort of see just how far action figures have come over the last 25 years. And that pretty much wraps us up on this action figure review. Guys, I really appreciate all the support. Thank you for watching. Please, if you haven't already done so, like and subscribe. More videos to come. Keep figure hunting.